What's going on, guys? It's your boy Lycan King, and today I'm joined by my good buddy
Arrow Devil 03.
Arrow Devil. He is the resident Fallout expert in all things the apocalypse. And this is a new segment that we're starting in the new year. But we just gonna start. Just want to make sure we get everything. So, new year, this is something we're doing. We're gonna be doing a lot more discussions about just really interesting topics. And today, I brought Arrow Devil here to talk about Fallout 76 because a lot of people is giving this game a lot of backlash. They are not happy with it. They're boycotting. They're starting forums and posts on Reddit. It's just all bad. You know, they're saying this is the end of Bethesda until the next Elder Scrolls game. But
It's
Arrow,
a one-sided flame war.
you think so?
It's a one-sided flame war.
I mean, these people. I mean, remember the one video we watched, and I mean, you was disputing him, and I thought he had some pretty good, like, points.
He did have good points, but the thing is it's all just the hype train. People jump on the hype train, and they think it's the next greatest thing since sliced bread, and then...
Which would be Kool-Aid. Anyways. Okay, so we are going to start with, what we starting with? I forgot the topic we started with. Okay, so we're going to discuss rumors, and we're going to try to go over most of the things that's been said in the comments by a lot of people. Because if you go on YouTube right now, and you type in Fallout 76 discussion or Fallout 76 talk, you'll find a lot of randomly hate videos about I didn't like this, I didn't like that. I mean, critiquing and nitpicking every aspect of this game. Me, myself, I have not played it yet. I've seen Arrow Devil stream it. I watched him play it. It looks okay to me. You know, I haven't really sat down with it. So he has, so we're gonna start with like rumors. A lot of people are saying that they don't like it because it's deserted and very lonely. So like what would you say to somebody like, man, this game is nothing but just PvP. There's no NPCs, there's no quest givers, there's no randomly generated events, like there's no, you know, UFO spaceships like it was in New Vegas. It's nothing random in this. It's just people teabagging each other in fucking party hats. So like well, what would you say to that?
The first thing is Fallout 76 is a proof of concept piece. Yes, it's a full game. Yes, it was $60. Yes, people are butthurt because they expected Fallout 4 with multiplayer. It's not Fallout 4 with multiplayer.
That's fair.
But it is a proof of concept piece. Bethesda basically wants to try to get... They want to improve on their ESO model, and they want to bring that to the Fallout universe. Obviously, you can't have a Fallout 4 style game with a full thriving world, NPCs, quests, and everything else, because Fallout 4 was not designed to be a multiplayer game from the ground up.
That's true.
You can't just take a concept that's designed as a single player, everybody experiences something a little different, and turn it into a, you know, multiplayer MMO style game like ESO. It just doesn't work. It's impossible. You have to start from the ground up with that concept. And that's what Fallout 76 is it's laying the groundwork for a similar concept. I mean, yeah, it could be 10 or 15 years before we see an ESO style Fallout.
Do you think it'd take that long though? I mean, well, okay. What do you think? Hold on, get out right. No. What do you think? Like, from all the feedback that I'm pretty sure Bethesda's gotten by now, and I know you said it's a proof of concept and whatnot, and you compared it to an ESO type of experience. But the thing with ESO was like that game it uses an already existing MMO combat model, like everything from crafting ridiculous weapons to the amount of time it takes to. I mean, it's literally just it's an MMO in an ESO, Elder Scrolls world. So like everything that you're playing, you've experienced in other MMOs. Like that is the style. But something like this is more of a I mean, the only MMO aspect that I've seen is like, okay, well, that person over there is another player. But like it's not really a true MMO experience because it's completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
it's
one thing people overlook is there are daily challenges, there are weekly challenges, there are reoccurring events in the game that multiple people can participate in.
Mhm.
Fallout 76 is not really designed to be a game where you go in by yourself and play the game. It's designed where you and a couple friends get together, you party up, and then you go tackle these challenges. So
it's not something that you would. Okay, you said it's not really a single player experience, and that makes sense because I mean, if you know about it, then you would know that. But so, like, if you don't have your group, can you still enjoy the game? Like, can you turn it on, go through, find some loot, and be like, all right, I'm gonna
yeah,
wait for
you can enjoy it as a single player. It's easy to do, and a lot of times when a challenge is started, everyone on the server gets an update that there's a challenge going on, and they can choose to participate in it if they want. And I played several where I just showed up and there was no one around, and part of the way through the challenge, a couple people showed up and started helping me out. Didn't know them, never played a game with them before that I can recall, and they helped me out. So
like, what do you think is like people's main issue with this game? Do you think like they really truly just think this is a piece of garbage, or do you think the hype train was just way too much?
I think it was the hype train, the
Because
biggest thing.
I mean, honestly, they made it seem like this is the experience that we've all been wanting. Like, me personally, I like Fallout 3, one of my favorite games. I'm currently playing Fallout 4. I remember talking to you about this. I was gonna get it because I was just like everybody else. Was like, oh shit, Fallout! I can play it with other people finally. We have 2 explorers, and we just tackle the world of Fallout. But when I seen it, I was just like, this is not. It's not what I thought it would be. And it kind of like turned me off a little bit to it because it wasn't what I thought it. I knew it wasn't gonna be exactly that because nothing like this has been done before with Fallout. Because it's a good game to have an open world MMO experience because I mean you can it's just designed for it. Like the actual world of Fallout is about survival and people finding other survivors, you helping them survive. So it would make sense, but when I seen it. It just was not what I thought it was gonna be. It wasn't even close to what I thought it was gonna be. I know you can't use VATS because that's obvious, but I don't know. Like,
well, VATS is a big complaint, and the thing people have to realize, it's an MMO style game. You can't slow down time
for one person.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it creates basically everyone has an unfair advantage, and some people be like, well, that is fair, but
no,
it's not really. I mean, that's like having a fighting game and every once in a while you can slow down time for the other character and just waylay them. It doesn't work.
Right.
And especially with like esports getting big now,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fallout isn't really a game designed for it, but the fact is in 10 years,
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
The dog's creeping.
You sure you don't want to be in the video now? You sure you don't want to be a part of this?
Well, shit, he scared me. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
I'm keeping it in here, too. Oh, shit. What was that?
Because he sneezed on my foot.
What was that? It's terrifying.
But it's not, like I said, it's a proof of concept piece, and a lot of people are disappointed because the world's empty. There's not really any NPCs.
So you agree that the world is empty?
The world is empty, but they do a good job of explaining why it's empty.
And why is that?
That is...
Now, y'all pay attention because he's actually played this game. Now, I'm asking questions because I don't know shit about it. But I'm only going off of what I've seen from watching him play.
For one, Fallout 76, unlike Fallout 3, unlike New Vegas, Fallout 4, they're taking place roughly 200 years after the Great War, after 2077 when the bombs dropped. So Fallout 76 is taking place 25 years after. So you're looking at the first generation of people born in a vault, raised in a vault, seeing the outside world for the first time.
I didn't know that. I didn't know this is so close to the actual...
Yeah, and I've heard some people complain about, all the radiation levels are high and everything. It's like, well, it's only 25 years after the bombs drop. I mean, scientifically, you got radioactive
So
half-lives.
are you seeing new mutated creatures that you've never seen before?
They do have new creatures. I mean, you see some.
Do you get your standard death claws?
You'll get your death claws. I haven't seen one yet. I've heard a couple people have seen them. I can't confirm or deny because they didn't have a video of it. I've seen Mirelurks. I've seen your mole rats. I've seen your typical Fallout, but Bethesda included creatures from West Virginia and the geographical region's lore. So, like your Grafton monsters, your Snallygasters, your Wendigos, or Wendigos, however, depending on what part of the country you're in.
Right.
But those types of creatures make appearances, and they have their own lore. I've heard people complain about the Scorch Beasts because they're like, oh, they're dragons. They're not dragons. They're giant bats.
I did hear that they were dragons.
They're giant bats.
Like some of the first people, oh, you get to fight dragons, and that was another thing that almost sold me because I'm like, you get to fight dragons. Dragons are real?
Nah, they're like a. They're like,
I haven't seen the Scorch Beast. I don't know what the fuck it looks like.
They're like a mutated giant bat. It's basically what they are. The lore reason in the game why you come across a bunch of settlers who have been killed recently is because the Scorch Beasts are spreading a new type of plague. So they're turning people into what they call Scorched, which are basically intelligent ghouls. These people have this disease, but they can still use tools, they can still use guns, they can still somewhat
So they
plan.
are... Okay, so again, I mean, you talked about this a while ago when you first told me what this was.
Mhm.
So I'm going to bring this up again. So they're basically, like you said, they're ghouls, but they're not called ghouls. It's sort of like a reskin of a ghoul to be a new enemy in this game.
Yeah, and the thing is
Not
unlike...
a feral ghoul, like that is just...
not a feral.
Just like a ghoul that could talk and walk and drink water, pick up a branch and bust you in your shit.
But they're not like your typical ghouls that you would see in other Fallout games where they can carry on normal conversations. They're more degraded mentally than that, but they're not to the point of a feral. They're somewhere in between.
Okay.
And they are hostile to everything. They're hostile to ghouls, they're hostile to ferals, they're hostile to people, other creatures that get too close, they're hostile to everything.
Okay. Okay, so the things that I've been hearing a lot is, okay, so we talked about the world and why it's so deserted. But my question with, I know you said it was 25 years after the original bombs dropped and everybody went into the vault. So with it being so close to the original timeline of when all of this first started, wouldn't you think though you would still see like more people coming out of vaults? Because I saw you in one part, you were in a hospital and people were like frozen. I don't know why they couldn't move.
Well,
so like, wouldn't you think you see more people like coming out of the vault, like, you know, instead of it just being just lone, like, what I'm trying to get at is, I just kind of feel like there should have been more.
That's the MMO part of it, though.
But okay, so you said they should sacrifice the core of Fallout to change it to an MMO, because the core of Fallout.
No. They shouldn't.
Do you miss the NPCs?
Yes. The thing is again, this is a proof of concept piece.
I love it says it, and it just brings it all back.
Can we make this happen in a way that not only protects the lore, protects the integrity of the gameplay, but brings that community of Fallout players together so you have that multiplayer experience within Fallout? That's the point.
Do you think they did that? Do you think they united the community by giving them something that they could play with each other?
Yes and no.
Like your honest opinion.
Honestly, yes and no.
Give me the no's first.
The no's is because there's not really any NPCs, which is the core of Fallout. Is this the lore, the world, everything?
And the survival aspect of it.
And the survival.
You never know who you're gonna meet out there.
And that was kind of replaced with a sort of PvP. And the way they do the PvP is someone could attack you, but you only take fractions of the damage. It's really easy to heal. It's really easy to come up with survival items and things, so that's not really an issue. You only enter a full-blown battle if you turn around and
Engage.
engage the person.
Okay.
So
you get a whole bunch of jackasses just like shooting you for no fucking reason for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and the thing is if a player does that enough, they get a bounty put on their head. So all the players in the server now know that this person, and caps, if anyone's played it, know that caps are really hard to come by in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that reason is actually a lore-friendly reason. If you go back into the Fallout lore, the reason caps were used as currency is because they were used to replace bottles of fresh water. Instead of merchants carrying hundreds of gallons of fresh water around with them, they can carry caps. Because obviously in a world where everything's irradiated, purified water is scarce, so it's going to be, and it's most important for survival. I mean, you can go 3 weeks without food, a couple days without water, and that's it.
Right.
So that's kind of how caps came along. And
I learned something today. I didn't know that. I thought it was a Nuka-Cola.
No, and the thing is there's no one producing bottle caps, so they're hard to counterfeit.
Right.
The thing about the scarcity of them is because you can argue both points of there's no need for them to be that scarce, and you can argue that for lore reasons they need to be that scarce. Only 25 years after the bombs drop, you got to figure most people who survived, they're scavenging things, but they're survivors from old worlds, so they're not really seeing bottle caps as currency.
True.
They're seeing bottle caps as scrap. We can melt these down. We can reuse the metal. We can do other things with it.
Or to just pop in the tops and just toss them down.
Right. So that's
the no.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the no.
Now give me the yes. Well, give me the yes.
The big yes, the big lore reason is, of course, because water would be scarce. So it would obviously be worth more. And without people having 200 years of scavenging, there's not going to be a lot of caps, so as far as a monetary system in circulation.
Okay.
I mean, what's more important, acquiring fresh water or drinking Nuka-Cola?
Water.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I bet Nuka-Cola is awesome. I'm a Coke fan myself, but that's an arguably lore reason why it is the way it is. But the bounty system allows you to acquire caps, and yes, caps can be used to purchase. There's robot vendors, there's not human vendors. Caps can be used to purchase equipment, supplies.
But do you think that element right there really kind of takes away from... I mean, do you think it would have hurt them to add NPCs to this game?
I don't think it would have hurt, but the way they...
Because there are tons of... And I'm not trying to compare games here, but we did mention ESO, which is another Bethesda game. There's a shit ton of NPCs in ESO because quest givers and traders, like NPCs do a lot in MMOs. Now, and we can go on World of Warcraft. Like NPCs are vital to progressing not only the main story but just the overall experience.
Right.
Like if you meet somebody, you're like, damn, that's a nice ass axe he got. Well, that was given to him by an NPC that. A quest that he had to do. Now a lot of people may not have this weapon because they didn't maybe do the required steps, but it's available to, like you said, if you really live the game, then you know one day you might just be walking and you decide to talk to somebody, and now when you go back into town you got some shit and everybody's like, whoa.
Well, that goes back to, I mean, two reasons. That goes back to one, how the game was built, and two, lore reasons. I mean, ESO, there wasn't global nuclear war.
No.
Decimating basically the entire world population. So I think this is an easier way to bring the concept of MMO Fallout and ESO Essential Fallout to life without it taking so long. And I think the reason Bethesda released this, even though in between, between their general releases of,
Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and the other games Bethesda produces.
Those are the big two.
Yeah, those are the big two. But the main reason is because I think they want to get the concept out there, and they want to get honest feedback of not so much can we do it, because we know Bethesda can.
Yes.
It's more of, is this something that...
Now, do you think that they gotta. Do you think they'll try again? Do you think the response was good enough for them to try it again?
I think if people,
Like as of right now, if you were sitting on the board and you've been hearing all, I mean,
if I was Todd Howard right now,
right, would you try this again? Like in the next 2 years, would you give this another try?
not in the next 2 years. That's why I was saying it'd probably be 10 or 15, because you got to look. You still got the new ESO that's going to come out within the next couple years. I mean, Bethesda has been known to, especially recently, the past couple game releases, show up at E3, say, here's a teaser trailer, and the next year be like, it's coming out in November or something, of this year
they did
or
kind
next
of
year.
tease the next Elder Scrolls at E3. We didn't get anything but a logo,
But we know it's there.
we know it's in development. So
By the very nature of seeing the world, we know for a fact that it's on some level of completion.
right.
It could just be basic stuff. It could be they've got half the world built. We don't know yet.
So okay. So you said in about 15 years they should try another. But do you think they lost? Do you think they can? Do you think with this 76 release, do you think they still have the same fan base they did at the beginning of launch?
I do. I mean, yeah, people are upset and people are threatening boycotts, but the thing is a lot of people, I've noticed recently since it's been out a few months, are starting to kind of take a step back, and they've got off the hype train.
There you go.
They've faced that disappointment of it wasn't what they wanted, because we've all got games that we thought were going to be awesome and we've been disappointed with them. But when you go back and play it sometime later, you realize it wasn't that bad of a game. Yes, there's things Bethesda could have done better. Yes, there's things their marketing team could have done, but honestly, their job is to hype up the game. That's their job.
And it was gonna sell by itself because it's Fallout. So just on the name alone.
People saying, "Oh, Fallout 76 was a cash grab." I don't think so, because Bethesda. I mean, I'm sure, especially with those, because I got the collector's edition 76 with the power armor helmet, and I know there's been a lot of flack on Bethesda about changing the bag. But my thing is, everyone knows you didn't buy the power armor edition for the bag. You bought it for the helmet. That's why you bought it. Yes, it's kind of disappointing, but
yeah. But do you think with what you had to pay, though, you should have got the bag?
No, because I still got the Steelbook Tricentennial Edition. So, there's your $70-$80 right there. Okay, I got the Power Armor, which standalone, if ThinkGeek does what they did with the Pip-Boy Edition for Fallout 4, they brought those out and they had them $150 a pop.
Bro, I still want one.
Oh, yeah, no, I still do.
I got the app, but I still want the wrist accessory.
But that's the thing is, so if they were going to charge you $150 anyway for it, I mean, you're really not paying any more. Plus, you've got like the little minifigures, which I got a chessboard, and I'm going to play me some chess. I'm gonna figure out what creature I'm going to assign to what, and I'm going to have me some homemade Fallout chess.
So let me ask you this while we're talking about the collector's edition. Do you think that the only people that didn't have a problem with the bag were people like you who are true Fallout fans that was like, hey, I didn't get sold on the bag or the map, I got sold on the helmet? Do you think like people like that is like, you know what, man? Or do you kind of feel, do you understand like the people that's like, bro, I paid, how much was that bundle?
It was $200.
Okay. See, I don't have money like that, so I'm speaking from the broke side of the fence. $200, and if I paid $200 to GameStop, I went in there, I was like, here's my, I pre-ordered it, I went to pick it up. $200. That means I want everything that was on that goddamn poster. Everything.
Right.
So if I go out there to get my package, and you hand me a fucking dollar store bag versus the tactical military snowproof bulletproof bag, you don't think that's cause to be like, what the fuck? Like, I understand the helmet, the map, the toys, the little figures.
I'm not saying the people that,
where the fuck is my bag?
I understand where both sides are coming from. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I honestly think what Bethesda should have done, instead of doing the we'll give you $5 worth of the add-on for the you can make your character look cool little store, I honestly believe that was kind of a shitty thing. I think Bethesda should have said, you know what, yeah, we dropped the ball, you know, like just be honest with your fan base. It's like, hey, we found out that this wasn't feasible. We couldn't get a bag made out of, you know, heavy duty canvas in time for the order. You know, say something.
Right,
and
or
then
just be like, we'll ship it as soon as it's available. And still give us the bonus shit, the $5 shit, and still just be like, all right, 3 months from now or 2 months from now, we will ship this out. Don't just be like, it's done.
That, or they should have done something and been like, if you have proof, like a receipt or whatever, that you bought the Power Armor edition, it's like, we'll offer you a nice, high quality, heavy duty, you could use it for your luggage, you know, MedTech research bag, you know, and we'll, you know, it's like, and we'll just charge you shipping.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
I mean, that's fair, you know, because they shouldn't.
So would you do, if they came out with another Fallout and there was another $200 bundle, and this one came with a fucking Deathclaw ass sheet, would you fucking would you shred out the $200 again? And even though you see everything that's in this bundle, would you go into it knowing that you might not get something out of the bundle, or would you still just be like, fuck it, $200, give me the shit?
I would probably
be cautious this time, or would you still just go ahead and...
If it's stuff I wanted, because I wanted the Power Armor helmet, that was badass.
It is badass.
I would shell the money out again. The thing is I think, I would hope anyway, that Bethesda learned from this, and instead of making excuses, it's like, we understand your business, you know, you got people who are ordering this product all over the world. Just be honest with your customers, with your fan base. Hey, we couldn't feasibly do this.
Do you think it was rushed? Like, what do you think the reason is why they couldn't give out the bags? Do you think they rushed for the launch? Do you think they? I think it's at $200. Let's just weigh this out. At $200 a pop for the collector's edition, the Power Armor edition, and this is all over the world, like you said. At $200 a piece, that sounds like way more than enough to make these bags.
Well,
that's a lot of money.
But see, you also got to look at other things too. Like, you had the Power Armor helmet, so they had to pay a company to manufacture those. Yes, it was probably some company in China, and it was cheap as shit and all that. But you got to think, this stuff has to be shipped. This stuff, it's going from where it's manufactured to shipping, sometimes all over across the world, to somewhere else, to be bundled with something else, to be shipped somewhere else.
Right.
There's a lot of logistics that go into it.
That's true, but that's, you know that because this isn't your first Fallout game.
Yeah.
This isn't your first Ultimate Edition game.
Yeah.
You've done this before, so like, I'm just saying, like.
And I think that's part of the thing too, is you've got a lot of people, you know, they're coming up, you know, like me and you, like, we were high school when Fallout 3 came out.
Right.
So, like, we really didn't have the money to shell out for
to get all
some type of... Most of us were, oh, this game is cool, but we ain't got $60 to drop on it.
Exactly.
And then, you know, we walk into GameStop and it's on sale for $25, $30,
yes, sir.
and we're like...
I first played Skyrim. I think I paid about $15 for Skyrim. Never played an Elder Scrolls game, and it's one of my favorite games ever. And it was pre-owned, too.
I think that's basically what happened to me. I came back from a deployment, walked into the GameStop on base, and I was like, you know, I played all the games that came out recently. You know, do y'all have something different? And, you know, the guy said, yeah, we got this fantasy style sort of hack and slash, which I'm more of a shooter person a lot of times. At that time I was. Kind of changed, you know, but I broadened my horizons. But, you know, I paid like $20-25 for it, something like that, and got it, and I played it for 6 hours straight. So, yeah, I mean...
So you would be willing to give them another chance? Like,
yeah.
If the Fallout 89... Not 89, we're gonna leave the 9s alone. Fallout 100.
Yeah.
Would you be like, alright, so this time...
My thing is, if you promise something, you offer a product, and you can't deliver, I'm not going to be upset that you can't deliver, provided you're honest with me.
Right. Like, see, they wasn't honest with anybody.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not saying what Bethesda did wasn't shitty. It was.
Ooh, man.
And it was a slap in the face to a lot of people.
That's $200.
And I agree with people.
Give me half my money back, because that bag probably cost about $80. Shit.
I'd say it probably costs like $25.
Give me my $25.
But my thing is, instead of kind of... And all this was happening while people were screaming how they were disappointed at Fallout 76.
Right, so it just came at a negative time altogether.
So you've got this company, you've got all these people who put this time and this effort into making a game, because let's face it, video games are art.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes into them, and people...
Hold on. Just hold right.
So Fallout, video games in general are art. And you've got all these developers, all these designers, these artists, they put all this time and effort into a game, and I don't think it's fair to them to shit on all their work. Like, yeah, you might not enjoy the game, and that's fine, but you've got to be an adult, you've got to be a reasonable person and step back and say, okay, but let me look at the whole picture. Because people at that point were still riding the hype train.
Right.
It's like, it just got derailed.
Well, I don't think they were like, that bitch Stephanie, that was the art designer, fuck that bitch.
Right, but...
No, I think they were like, hey, director, fucking you, who said this was you. Stephanie, you're fine. That fucking Meyer alert looks beautiful.
Right. I'm not saying people directly attack the staff. I'm just saying, if you're the person who made this game and it's on its release night, I'm sure a lot of the staff at Bethesda were sitting waiting to hear reviews. Mm-hmm. And instead of coherent responses, they got 12 people screaming like 12-year-olds on the playground, like,
where the big people?
And I think people need to, and I've seen it start happening, especially people initially who were mad at it. Mm-hmm. They've kind of turned around and said, well, it was the hype train, it's like, as a core concept, it's a good concept, it's a working concept. And that's what we need to look at Fallout 76 is. Again, it's a proof of concept. ESO was literally designed from the ground up to be, an MMO-style game. And in ESO, we're not looking at a great cataclysm like global nuclear war.
Right. Would you say ESO did a good job in translating what people loved about Skyrim over to... Have you played ESO?
Yeah, I played ESO.
So do you think that Bethesda did a good job of capturing what people loved about Skyrim and brought that over to a world where you could experience with other people?
Generally speaking, yes. Now, I do have some complaints on ESO, specifically the crafting system. Mm-hmm. I thought was completely and totally, utterly ridiculous. But as a general core concept, as a game, it was fine. It was interesting to play, but just the lack of having people to play with and me not liking personally playing with randoms as a team, I stepped away from it. But it is a good game.
We're gonna vote to get him to come back because I need somebody to play with.
It's, graphics were beautiful. The world was beautiful. It was seamless.
Now, with that being said, do you think that's so? Like, if it's easier to do you think it's easier to translate Skyrim into ESO because it's not necessarily because of the lore, but because of the grand scale of adventure that Skyrim brought versus like Elder Scrolls is more of an adventure exploration. Fallout, there's a lot of exploration, but
it's more RPG.
Right, it's more like it's more of a survival type experience. You can't really go, hey.
And speaking story-wise, it's a lot more. I don't want to say linear because that just...
It sounds bad.
It sounds bad, but
it's off the tongue really bad.
But what I'm saying is, like Skyrim, and Fallout's the same way. There's so much to do on the side. Mm-hmm. But I think with Skyrim, it was just easier to get lost in the exploration.
That's true, because
like
I lived there for so long.
Like Fallout, not saying that the exploration is bad. Bethesda, please do not, change the world of Fallout.
Don't make it Skyrim, okay?
But because the way it works for the world works, and there's tons of exploration and things to do, and Easter eggs and all in Fallout. I'm not saying that. It's just the concept is slightly different, and to bring.
Do you think that because it's a post-apocalyptic game, do you think that I mean, I know it's a doom and gloom situation,
Right.
and I'm just gonna voice my opinions on what I think about 76s while we're talking about the survival aspect. I kind of feel like yes, it's a game that anybody can buy, but I think Fallout 76 to me, from what I've seen, is a game for people who really love Fallout.
It is.
I think it's a game that when you have Tom and goddamn Gerald over here who know so much about Fallout, I think their experience in this game will be better than Ryan and fucking Howard over there who just like, hey, I just got this game, everybody's saying let's play it, this shit is boring. Do you think that the first two guys would more overlook the lack of for the fact that they can live out an adventure with a friend? It's like, hey, let's go in this abandoned building. Oh shit, we got attacked by 37 ghouls, and you know what I'm saying? Do you think that they would be like, man, this game is fucking awesome?
Yeah.
Versus these guys is like, man, like we went there, we shot that, like I kind of feel like it's about like Destiny, because Destiny had the hype train with Destiny 2, and then people literally were just like, fuck this game. And now the only people that really play it are the people that really love it.
I think Bethesda was trying. The thing is there are people who really don't care that much for Fallout who love Elder Scrolls series, and vice versa.
Right.
People love Fallout.
Right.
But I think those people are in the minority. Typically, everyone I've met, they love Elder Scrolls and they have a love for Fallout. Now, they might like one a little bit more than the other.
Because I'm in that boat. I like Elder Scrolls a little bit more than Fallout, but Fallout 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. So
I think it was more of Bethesda had to create a product that probably they were aiming more towards the people who liked Fallout maybe more than Elder Scrolls and all that. And I think that's where, because a lot of people played ESO, and that's what they were expecting too. I think they were expecting a Fallout 4 world with ESO style gameplay.
I think I'm gonna tell you what turned me up, because I was expecting Fallout 4 world minus the VATS with other people, and I know that's something that's hard to do. But the thing again with ESO is you don't have to do a single quest in ESO if you don't want to. Just the fact that you can turn it on and you can go somewhere and like a city and just see hundreds of people just in the square, and if you turn your mic on, you can hear just people just having conversations. It's like, honestly, it's one of those things where you step into a world and it feels real. From everything I've seen about 76, people don't play with each other. They're, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's like, I haven't seen that unity yet with this game. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really heard, other than you telling me that, you know, every now and then somebody may join a public event, but that's just something that's just going on.
What I've seen playing is you have small groups of people, 2 to 4, maybe 5 people, get together on a server, and they'll be a team. You can pull up the map and see where everyone is, you know, on that server, and you'll see groups of people here, and they're not fighting, you know, it's just that they're traveling together, you know, whatever. So I see the community, like I said, I think a lot of it was just a general turn off the hype train and all, and people are starting to realize what it is.
I'm just cold.
Like I said, Bethesda...
I got the heat.
I'm sorry.
You can keep talking.
Bethesda could have done this a lot better. Bethesda could have... I think would have been a better step for Bethesda is to introduce multiplayer, small unit multiplayer into Fallout 4. Like cap it at 3-4 people per team if you want to do it, and start it there as a proof of concept instead of making another game. I get why they made another game, and I get why they put more into it than just like adding a multiplayer mode to Fallout 4.
The thing is, okay, let me ask you this. Which you have in 76? Have you beaten the story yet?
No.
Okay, you haven't beaten it yet. What level are you? What's the highest level player you've seen?
I've seen, personally, while I was playing, I've seen, I think, a level 70 player.
Jesus.
And I've seen videos of level 90 players.
Okay. So, with that being said, what's your level right now? What are you?
I honestly can't remember. It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, okay. So, what I'm trying to say is, do you think that it will ever get to a point to where people enjoy playing this game? Do you think it'll get to a point where, like with ESO, say you got 3 friends in Fallout 76, do you think it'll ever get to a point where people log on and they're just in that world for fucking hours on top of hours? I'm not talking about like, oh, I gotta play an hour. I'm talking about like log on and like, because in ESO, like you can run from one end of the map to the other on a horse with no load screens. You can just fucking go.
Yeah.
Do you think 76 will ever come to a point to where it's like, hey, you're on, I'm on, let's go explore?
I think it could get that way. Will it? No, but not because it's a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because, like I said, this is a proof of concept piece. Bethesda is just trying to lay groundwork. They're not trying to create a new world like they were with Elder Scrolls, like ESO.
Mm-hmm. So, because ESO's already been established, so would you say that this is a blueprint?
Yeah,
They're basically just collecting data.
yeah, and I think what Bethesda was looking for was honest feedback of how they want to see their core audience, if their core audience wants an ESO style Fallout game, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think it?
I mean, I guess because if you're used to something like Final Fantasy or Xenoblade Chronicles, an action style RPG, yes, that could work. But then we're completely changing gears here. I think that you know what, and I think that's why 76 is not well received by people, because in order to do what me and you talking about, you literally have to change the core of what Fallout is. And Vax is gone, but I'm talking about far as first person shooting, because you literally will have to change all of that if you're gonna make it something like ESO. It will go from a action RPG to something more of, like I said, like Final Fantasy, to where it's like people just shooting. You see the numbers pop up and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you never really. It don't feel like Fallout to where when you hit something with a pipe.
Well,
it'll feel more like it'll be like you're just standing there swinging. You're standing there swinging.
And I think that's.
Would you play that though? If that was the next big release?
If that was the next big release, no, probably not. And I think that's why Bethesda did it the way they're doing it. Instead of going all in and making it, and it being a failure, they want to baby steps. That makes sense. Because the fact is you'll never please everybody.
No.
There's always going to be someone who hates something about the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be someone who swears up and down it's the best thing ever. There's always those two sides. You can't please it. So they have to find a good middle ground. A good ground where people can come together and say, yeah, I might not particularly like this aspect, but it's nowhere near enough to throw me off from the game itself. And the only safe way to do that is to do a proof of concept piece like 76. Without doing that, I mean, you're gonna drop millions and millions of dollars into producing a game that people may or may not like, and it's a lot better to do a small sample and get it out there than it is to do a full-fledged game, full-fledged project, taking up 4 or 5 years just for it to be hated. So Bethesda made the right move in how they did it.
So can you see additional content for this as the years go on? How long do you think this is gonna last independently? Like, okay, so you had Skyrim, and then you had first DLC, second DLC, and third DLC. Yeah, Elder Scrolls, I don't know how many DLCs they got now. But do you think we'll get like Destiny continual DLCs for 76 to keep it going? Or do you think it's like we're just gonna be like...
Honestly, I think it completely depends on the fan base.
What do you want? Do you want to see DLC in this Fallout 76 keep going, or are you like, well...
I would like to see DLC, and the way I would like to see it personally, how I like to see it play out is you do the story. Okay. You fight the Scorched Beast, you defeat the Scorched Beast Queen, all that stuff. The plague's gone, you don't have to worry about the Scorched Beast plague anymore, so then you see people... that's when after that, the first DLC starts introducing new NPCs, and the world becomes more vibrant.
And man, you read my mind. 'Cause I was like, man, I hope he said something about NPCs just starting to wander out of random vaults.
And not just necessarily vaults, but coming from other areas, because you got to think, like, I mean, it's West Virginia. It's a fairly rural area, so there's not really a reason for people to spread out that much. You know, you've got your major areas where bombs were hit. You know, like you look at Boston. You know, they had the Cambridge crater. You know, that, you know, a bomb hit and it was just fairly irradiated in that area and all. Obviously, 25 years after the bombs drop, you can't go near it.
Right.
But people are going to naturally go somewhere where they can form a community in some sort of way. Because, I mean, you know, safety in numbers type deal.
Right. Do they have spots like that in 76 where you can go where it's just like a whole bunch of people? Or is it just random every time you turn it on? Like, can you turn it on and be like, all right, I'm going to go to Boston Medical Center, and it's like that's like a hub where like people log into the game.
Right now, there's not hubs.
Okay.
But the thing is there's not NPCs really either.
True.
Because of the Scorch Beast play. Because that's lore. Speaking of lore, because you actually, this game I like because if you want to find out what happens, you have to read the terminals. You have to do the digging. You know, the stuff I like to do anyway. It kind of makes you do, and I think that's probably turned some people off because some people just want to play.
Right.
You know, some people just want the story fed to them. They don't want to have to
They don't want to
investigate. But I think that's part of the Fallout. You know, as opposed to the Elder Scrolls series, that's part of Fallout. Is, you know, you're not so much. I mean, the world is, you know, with the NPCs and all is good, but when you get to open up a terminal and you read, you know, it's like how daily life was in 2077, you know, and then you get to, as soon as you back out of the terminal, you get invested in this person's, you know, personal life, their story. You back out of the terminal, you're in a completely different world again. You know, you're in a post-apocalyptic world. Right. And I think that's a lot of the charm with Fallout. Yo,
I like how you said it. I like how you said that with like the next DLC they could introduce it. This could like that could be a reason why we don't. That's a really good idea. Like, as soon as you said that, I was like, damn,
like
that actually could work.
But and I would catch flack for this, you know. It's like, but I think that even if you get the DLC, it doesn't. I think what triggers the next part of the story is you defeating the Scorch Beast.
Hot damn. See, now we getting into real gamer territory, because that'll be like you have the people running around like, who you guys talking to? What vendors? I don't see anybody. Where'd you get that? And I like that because there's so many people that I run into when I'm playing Destiny 2 that don't know shit. Like, there's a whole story going on in the Dreaming City. They don't know shit about it.
Yeah.
Like, nothing.
And what they need to do, I think the best way to do this is to split up some servers so, you know, the people who haven't defeated Scorch Beast Queen, they're all on one server.
That makes sense.
So, you know, you don't have, like, someone just standing there, like, they're talking to somebody and
you can't see them.
And you can't see them, because that would ruin the immersion of the game.
Yes, it would.
But then having a server, because, see, you don't have to have servers for every DLC. It's just like, once you beat the core story,
you unlock the second server,
and then every other DLC's on that server.
Right.
So then everyone is roughly on the same page. Yes. Like Destiny, you go to a hub, and it's like, oh, hey, so where'd you get that? Well, if you do this in the third DLC, which since they've already beat the Scorch Beast Queen, you at that point you have access to all the DLCs if, you know, as they come out. So they could say, oh, well, cool. So, like, where do you do that? Oh, you go to it's like you go to you go to the Ashlands, and there's this spot here by this place, and there's a vendor in that place. There's a trader, you know, and they carry these rare items like this, you know, something like that.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
But that's what I would like to see. I think if Bethesda did that, yeah, it's going to make people mad, because eventually there's going to be like a Game of the Year, Fallout 76. Someone's never played it, or they just heard the bad reviews, and so they get it, and they're like, well, I can't use any of the DLC. You know, that should be something that's explained, like, you have to do this. And I think to people who are fans of Fallout and even Elder Scrolls, like, I think that would be a lot more well received than...
You have to kind of earn it.
Yeah.
I actually do like that concept. I think more games should do that.
I think, it's like it's not going to appeal to younger gamers because they're used to just having everything handed to them.
Call of Duty has a story? Fuck out of here.
But us older guys who grew up in, the Nintendo era
Right.
and, 64s and the first PlayStation, PS1.
Cheat codes, you say?
Yeah, we're used to, we were introduced into earning things.
Exactly.
And that's not really a huge concept in gaming much anymore.
It's really not, because now you can just find somebody, you can just literally just follow them while they're killing everything.
Look at The Witcher 3, amazing game. I love that game.
I just got it.
It's one of my top 5 games of all time.
Yennefer.
Yeah, I know you like your Raven sorceress there, but one thing is with the DLC, if you've never played the game and you want to do the DLC, you can do it. It'll automatically level you up to the level you need to be, give you some comparatively good gear, I mean, obviously you'll have more experience, better gear, better weapons if you work your way to that level,
right.
Which is what I'm doing.
Me too.
In the playthrough. Then it's like, and I'm not knocking the team that did it, because maybe you had the game before, and before all the DLC came out, you traded it or changed consoles, whatever, and you're like, I know the story, I know everything, I really don't want to go back through it. So I see both points of view.
Right. That's a good way of saying it.
But I think for 76, the best way would be to complete the main story and DLC add additional story. And I know with like Fallout 4, like the new DLCs, they added, I'd probably say 10 to 20 hours, maybe roughly, of gameplay if you do straight just run through the story of that area. And I think 76 could do a lot more. I would say the first DLC needs to be relatively small. Like, you see some NPCs like traders, caravans. Maybe you get more introduction to maybe the Brotherhood of Steel, maybe something with the Enclave popping up.
Yes.
Those things would make sense.
Talent Company.
Yeah.
Heard that a lot.
Those things would make sense. It's like, I think that would be a good introduction, because yes, 76 does have the possibility of long-term playability. The thing is will fans hang around long enough for it to happen, or will Bethesda even do anything?
I think if it comes down to if it's dependent on the fans, only the diehards will be left. I think by the end of, let's say we already in the new year, I give it within the next 6 months. If that game is still around and it's still going strong, the only people that are playing will be the diehards. I don't think the people that bought it at launch are still playing that game. If they are, they won't be playing it by then.
I think it is completely determinant on what happens at E3 this year. I think when Todd Howard, because I'm 99.9% sure Bethesda's going to have their own showcase again.
Of course.
I think it depends completely on what Todd Howard gets up there and says. If he says it's dying, it's done, whatever, I think some people will be okay with that. Some people will be upset.
But do you think he should, though?
No. I think what they should do is, one, they should just apologize for what happened. Yes. I think they should just straight up come out, man up, and say, look, this was a proof of concept game. We're sorry. It's like that.
It wasn't what y'all wanted.
It wasn't what you wanted. But what we need is the fans' help to make it as best as it could possibly be. And that's the thing is, the gaming community, it needs to realize, things do change, I mean.
Because we can be harsh.
Just look at our time. Like, we grew up with Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island, and then, it moved to Nintendo 64. We got, Star Fox, Turok,
Yep.
And then it went to PS1, PS2, the Segas.
Tony Hawk!
So gaming has gone from pretty much arcades to platformers to first-person shooters, open world. I mean, it's a constant evolution.
It is. It's always building on the previous installment. Like, platformers are still platformers, but the platformers are now Mario back in the day is no comparison to some of the platformers.
If you
now.
took the indie a platformer like the original Mario, like original Super Mario Brothers, is a simple, easy concept.
Simple.
Like that's, I mean, not saying that
it's not a bad game
by any means.
It's still a simple game.
As far as technology speaking, as far as where we've come in the gaming world, it is
basic.
It is incredibly basic
of basic.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not.
And there's a lot of people who are more casual gamers who do not like ESO or Fallout or the Witcher series because there's so much lore. They don't want that. They just want to casually play something, turn it on, play a little bit, turn it off, come back to it a week later and pick up right. And that's fine. If that's what you want, that's fine. And there should be games out there for everyone. Okay, almost everyone.
Almost, yes. I was like,
there's some people out there.
Goblin Slayer, you say?
I'd play a Goblin Slayer.
I know.
That's not the point. the thing is, Bethesda has built a fan base with ESO, with Fallout. Like you look at like Wolfenstein games. They have. It's like, and I've met people who love I like the Wolfenstein games, but you met people. I've talked to people who they love Wolfenstein games, but Fallout and Elder Scrolls is too much for them. Either they're not interested in the fantasy setting.
Too lore heavy.
Yeah, it's too lore heavy, whatever. Or, it's they don't want the massive open world. And that's fine.
Right, that's completely fine.
Yeah, it should be your choice and all that. And I think for like the diehard Fallout fans like me, we'll be around. And I think what people just want is honesty from Bethesda. That's the biggest thing, is people just want them to be straightforward. Yes, like I understand it's a business and all that stuff, but at some point you gotta capitulate. You gotta be like, look, this is what happened. We're sorry. It's like.
But do you think them releasing that? We can go back to the DLC concept. Do you think if what you said happened, do you think it could turn around as a game in whole?
Yeah.
Do you think that would actually like turn it around and make it better?
Yeah.
To the point where people are like, hey man, you gotta check this out. A lot done changed since.
I think it would, provided it comes out up front that you need to beat the original story quest for it before you get into the DLC.
Right.
As long as that's put out there, because then people, if they're like, well, I can't touch the DLC, it's like, well, it's written right there in bold that you can't.
And the game has been out long enough.
So, I think there's tons of potential for Fallout 76. I don't think there's going to be as massive a world initially as ESO was. Because like I said, it was designed that way from the ground up. So it's easy to turn around, relatively speaking, and drop a whole new, like, you can turn around and say, well, you'll start out in Skyrim. Oh, well, now you're going to go to the Emerald, the Shimmering Isles. Like, you could have those major progressions in something like that. And I think 76 is better taking baby steps.
Pull him over. He's like, oh, I'm not to
Get him.
Yeah, right there.
He really did. Okay, so baby steps.
Yeah, I think baby steps is the best way.
So you do see a future from Fallout 76?
I see a potential future. But again, that depends on what Bethesda does at E3 this year. Because they can totally drop the ball and kill 76. And
that wouldn't be a good idea. I don't think they should kill it.
No. I mean, I'm not saying that they do. I'm just saying that their actions at E3
is going to dictate how this game
could be the death blow for 76 if they don't handle it right. And if that happens, I would say that I could 100% say that we would not see another Fallout game for a decade.
Just based off of that.
Yeah.
So Fallout 5
could
now delayed because of a game that's completely in a different.
Because the thing is we don't know what are they using this as sort of a trial by fire to do a little bit different with Fallout. Like, are they gonna sit there? I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm saying
your concept would work if it was you have to beat the game to unlock the multiplayer. That way you get your solo experience, and like Grand Theft Auto, you can turn it on or off.
Yeah,
that would work. But to be like, is this like? Cause I kind of feel like right now, no. I think if they pull the plug, like if tomorrow we heard like Bethesda has pulled the plug on Fallout 76, there's no more additional content. That's it. They felt it was a failure and they just pulled it. I don't think you could come back from that. I don't think that people would be like, I'm gonna get the next one and be like, yeah.
No,
I think that would literally like you said, 10 years maybe, but I don't think they could come out with anything else that Fallout related.
That's my fear because I'm such a big Fallout fan, and that's why I cringe at the very harsh reviews that 76 was getting, as opposed to people just being realistic about it. Because I mean, you got to look at the time.
I'm looking at it like Fable 3.
Yeah,
Fable 3 was hyped beyond measure, and it didn't deliver. But I loved it. I thought Fable 3 was a good game.
Well,
I play all of them, and I'm a huge fan. Now, did it do the shit that they said it would do? Like you chopped down a tree, and you came back a year later, the tree would be growing? Fuck no, I didn't believe that shit, and I didn't look for it. But I played the hell out of those games because I was a fan from the first one. Was it as good as Fable 2? No. But was it a decent experience from a Fable game? Yeah. I liked it. So, you know, it was fine for me.
Well, that's like Aliens Colonial Marines.
Oh, God.
Us older guys still remember the flack from that game.
Oh God, that is like that's on the never do list of how to make a bad game.
But the thing is the core concept. I enjoyed the game.
Is that has anything to do with you actually being an ex-Marine?
Maybe, but
yeah.
The thing is when I got that game, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go in with a lot of firepower and wreck face. And that's what the game was. Going in there with a lot of fire. See, people wanted like Alien Isolation.
Right. That's what they really want.
But the thing is it's like you're going in as a squad of Colonial Marines. You have you have auto turrets and all kinds of awesome weaponry. Like it's not going to be survival horror. It's going to be like
you're not Ripley and you're the last one standing. No.
Yeah.
You have a team.
So and yeah, they cut the graphics down for consoles, which pissed a lot of people off. But my thing is, most all gameplay review is going to be on the top of the line PC because it makes the game look good.
Yeah.
Yes, consoles, graphically speaking, are not ever going to be as good as PC. Now, at the time they release,
they might be able to run with it, but no.
But the thing is a PC
is upgradable.
The people that run those PCs drop like what?
1,200. That's what
I mean. They drop like, say, probably 1,500. Good monitor and everything.
Exactly.
And then the next year they're dropping another $700-800 to upgrade everything.
Exactly.
So of course you can't do that with consoles.
No.
But the thing is that doesn't make consoles inferior.
No, because you have the One X, you have the PS4 Pro, Nintendo. We're not even going to talk about that, but this doesn't even apply to them. But
I mean, Nintendo's not really geared towards adults anyway.
That's another video.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the thing with it is people have unrealistic expectations.
But in all fairness and everything, you gonna see this thing through. You gonna keep playing.
I'm gonna keep playing.
You gonna see what happens in the future.
Yeah.
You just want
like I said,
else to do the same.
Like I said, I want to see what happens at E3 this year. It's 6 months away, so anything could happen. And like you said, tomorrow Bethesda could come out and say, "We're done. We're pulling the plug. Like it's dead." Do I think that's the wrong thing to do? Oh, absolutely. I think because the people like me who have stuck around, that's just a slap in our face.
It really is.
Because, especially if they like shut the servers down and everything, because then you don't have a game. It's like, I paid for a game and now I literally can't do shit.
$200.
Yeah, but I still got the collector's. I'd be more pissed about the $80 for the actual game at that point, because I still got the other shit.
You get the bag.
Yeah, but I was never going to use the bag for anything else than to be like, look at this cool shit. So,
I guess that's true.
I wanted the helmet. That's why I bought it.
That's true.
I wanted the damn helmet.
Yes.
I didn't give a fuck about the bag.
All I'm saying is, I just am a little worried about the future for as Fallout is concerned, because like I said, it was a nice thought, because I remember the first time I heard about it, I was like, what, there's a multiplayer Fallout game? Oh shit. It looked cool, but then I got a chance to see some gameplay, and it was just not what I wanted in terms of the world. Like I say, my main gripe, and this is coming from somebody who does not own this game. My main gripe about this game is the fact that it's too isolated. It's too PvP-ish. Like, it's a world where it's just nothing but other people, so many people, that it no longer feels abandoned. And then when it's not enough people, then it's like hopelessly abandoned because there's no NPCs. But then it's like, okay, well, I just came out of a vault and I'm trying to survive, but it's like 45 people over there. So what the fuck? What is happening right now? Why are we not kicking ass? How did I die and there's 30 people over there having a dance party? You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, well, if I'm in an area and it's only 2 people and we're spread the fuck out, now I am truly alone. And then no matter where I go from this point in the game, if I don't run into another player, I am by myself.
Yeah.
And I know it's an earlier concept. It's what, how many years? 200 years that you said after the bomb?
25.
25. Okay, so that's really early. And I get that, but at the same time, if there's people out there, then I just don't want to be the only one. I don't want to be the only survivor in the world where there's fucking death claws and goddamn rat scorpions, rat roaches. I don't want to be the only guy like killing these things.
Yeah.
Like, I will do what I have to do to survive, but I would love to run into somebody else.
Yeah.
Just one person.
That, like I said, it depends on what Bethesda wants to do in the future. If they kill this game, all right, what they'll probably do, because they know it's a safe concept, is do a Fallout 5 like a Fallout 4. They might do a multiplayer with it, but like as far as like 2, 3, 4 people, you know, can play together, like invite only type deal.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to go fall back on that safety net. But it's going to be some time before we see it. If 76, if they kill it. If they go with something sort of like my idea where they introduce DLC like that, it can revive the game. That could be that spark it needs.
Okay, so final verdict. There's a future for Fallout 76.
There is. It just depends on how Bethesda plays it.
Do you think this is a game for everybody?
No.
Do you think this is a game for people who have no idea what Fallout is?
No, absolutely not. This is not a beginner's game for stepping into the Fallout universe.
Okay.
This is I played Fallout 3, yeah, I played Fallout 1, 2, 3, you know, at least have started on Fallout 3, played New Vegas, played 4. That's what this game is geared towards, the veterans of the Fallout series. It's not geared towards new players, which is okay.
Mm-hmm, that's fine.
But that needs to be the warning that goes into it. If you've never played a Fallout game, don't start with this game.
Right.
Because you're going to be lost.
Right. That's what you get for eating my hair. So, do you think it's worth the price? Do you think this is a full $60 game?
You're not right.
Ray, come on, let her go to sleep. Come on, buddy. I just saw it. Let her go to sleep.
A full $60 game.
Do you think this is worth full price? For a proof of concept, like if I played Fallout 3 back way back when, and I'm just like, well, it's been a while since I played Fallout. This is the newest one. Do you think I should pay $60 for this game? Because I'm definitely not paying $200 because I don't have money like that. My pockets ain't that deep. But like if I was at GameStop and I seen it on not on sale, but if I seen it, do you think I should spend $64 on this game?
No, I think it'd be a good like $40 game, and with the caveat of it, you know, being explained that this is a proof of concept piece.
So you said the people at GameStop should tell people.
Yeah.
Like if I walk up to the counter with Fallout 76, they should be like, okay, this is not Fallout 4, New Vegas, or 3. What you love is not in this. This is not that game. You'll get bits and pieces of it, but do not turn this on and think that you're playing Fallout 3. Like you think there should be full like disclaimer. I just want you to know what you're buying.
Full disclosure. That's
most of the time people go in there. This is a good game. Oh yeah.
Full disclosure, but that's not on Bethesda.
No, that's not.
That's a GameStop thing and would be a whole new.
That's not entirely on there because I think that marketing could have been a little bit better in telling people what
they could have come out and said this is a proof of concept piece,
or this is not the Fallout that you know.
Yeah,
this is gonna be a new experience.
But
you know
they have to be careful with that because then people, you know, that hype train will just start moving faster and get longer. If they said something like that, so. But
I'd rather the only people that play my game, if I had to pick the people that love my game.
Yeah.
I don't mind anybody playing it, but if I got to choose between telling everybody now what this is gonna be versus telling them after they all hate it, I'd rather tell them beforehand. Because now I got a situation to now, I'm not sure if my people are gonna come back to me. I'm not sure if I have let them down. You know,
loyalty to the fan base should take priority over making the sell.
Right.
Because the thing is, if you're loyal to the fan base and you listen to what they tell you and you stay good to them, you're going to sell your product. Mm-hmm. Like, especially with video games, like you're going to make your sell. And I think that's something that these big companies need to realize is, yeah, you're a big company, but it's a free market society.
True.
If we don't like your shit, we won't buy it.
Right.
And then you're gone. Which would be incredibly sad if Bethesda folded. I think
I would cry.
Yeah, I would. I'd be right there with you.
There are memories there, and I do not want to see those go away.
But that's the thing is companies they're taking the risks, but they don't want to remain loyal to that fan base. Like if Bethesda would have come out with their marketing and said, "This is what we're trying to do." Okay, and then they said, look, you know, this is going to be a $60 game, but this is what you're getting. If you don't want to buy it, then that's on you.
Yes.
But we're coming up. Yeah, I mean, obviously they can't give everything away because what's the point?
Don't give it all away. But again, like I kind of feel like with the fiasco with the bag, and then on top of the bag fiasco, you have a game that was like nothing anybody wanted. Did you get anything that you wanted from 76? Like you was like, I want to see this and that. Did you get any of that from 76? Like coming from Fallout 4 and all the Fallouts that you played previously, when you went and bought this game, did you, before you put it in your Xbox, did you go, man, I've always wanted to see this, and when you turned it on, since you've been playing, have you gotten anything that you said before launch in this game?
I've got a couple things. I mean, really what I wanted was, I knew I wasn't going to get Fallout 4 multiplayer.
Right.
I mean, I'm just a realist like that.
Yes, you are, because I was like, yeah!
What I was expecting was, I don't want to say shallow, because that sounds wrong. What I was expecting was like Fallout 4 Lite with multiplayer.
Okay,
like,
that's fair.
You've got some NPCs, you got some like, I went into this thinking this is just a proof of concept piece. And I was like, but I get that badass power armor helmet, so I'm gonna buy that bitch.
So either way it goes, you were fine with the pre-order.
I was fine with the pre-order.
You didn't really care. The fucking helmet.
I don't care about the fucking bag. Like, right. Would it be nice if if Bethesda were to turn around and offer me a nicer bag? Fuck yeah. But I'm not gonna shit on them for that, because I would like maybe them to just come out and explain to the people who are really pissed about it why it went down that way, just because I think that's fair. But I don't really care. Like, I didn't turn in do the shit to get the extra atom and all that, because that's just a waste of my time, because I don't really give a fuck about it. Now, if I got the power armor helmet and it was just like, oh, well, it's supposed to be you can wear it and it's got a voice changer and all, and it's just fucking a half-sized helmet that you sit on your desk, then I'd be fucking pissed.
So the main attraction wasn't what that you wanted. You would have been like, "Give my money back."
But see, to me, that sounds reasonable.
Right.
Because everyone knows you went in to buy that power armor edition
$200
for the helmet.
For the helmet.
You know, and of course you got like the limited edition steelbook game and all that shit too.
But the helmet was the main attraction.
Yeah, the helmet was what sold the power armor edition. Obviously. So I'm not really butthurt about all that. But I think it would be wise for Bethesda, especially if they don't do it till then, especially at E3, to walk out and the first thing Todd Howard needs to say is, "We're sorry." It's like, this is what happened. You know, they need to be honest with their fan base. I think.
What if they come out and they just completely kind of touch on it, but they don't fully apologize? They kind of like, we're gonna try to fix this in the coming year, but they don't go, "We're sorry, it's not what you wanted. We're doing better." But they just come out and be
if they brush it off,
we are just gonna try to. We've been looking at things, hearing your feedback, and we're gonna try. But they never fully come out and say, "We're sorry for making you pay $200 for a game that you didn't want. We're sorry for making you spend $200 for items that you didn't get." They're just like, "Well, you know, we've been hearing some things, and we're gonna try to give you this and that." But they never really say the words, "I'm sorry." Like, would that bother you?
I'm not saying that they need to say "I'm sorry."
I need to hear it.
You ain't even bought the game, and you need to
I need to hear it.
What I want them to do is, if they don't say "I'm sorry," they need to say this is what happened and explain in detail to their fan base what happened.
Do you want to know what happened?
Yeah, I want to know. Because I think we all deserve to know what happened and where they plan on going with everything. Because if Bethesda walks out and, like you said, just brushes things off, it's like, it's going to kill them. I mean, I know there's, like, I'm just about as big ESO fan as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not ESO, Elder Scrolls fan.
Right.
As you are. But I think that if they were to just come out and brush it off, I think that would destroy Bethesda. I think their fan base, even the Elder Scrolls fans who really aren't that big Fallout fans, I think they would see that and they would look at Elder Scrolls 6
about the next
and be scared about it.
Right.
And then they're not going to get the pre-orders. They're not going to get the numbers they want.
Nope.
And then Bethesda's going to be sitting there going, why? And it's like, because you weren't loyal to your fan base.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, because I would definitely be like, I don't know.
And again, that goes back to, like I said, they don't need to full out hit their knees and grovel and beg for forgiveness.
No.
I'm not asking it, but just explain to your fan base what happened. Just say, look.
Because as of right now, we are in the dark.
Yeah.
We don't know shit.
That's what people, I think that's the biggest thing, is people, they're not saying anything. Other than, well, we'll do this, and it's like, well, we'll throw, this little bullshit at you. And that's more insulting to people than, just not doing shit.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, if they just said, we're not doing shit, I think people would be less upset than the tiny little...
Right, than to just waiting, like, I wonder what the... Nice to know.
So, I think Bethesda needs to, at E3 this year, do that. Just explain to their fan base, what their plans are. And if they come out and they explain to people and they explain everything, that might help revitalize 76 too.
All the time, that's how it was with Destiny 2. People were like, they stopped playing, they just terribly angry, and they Bungie listened, and they kind of changed it. With Forsaken, they answered a lot of questions. You alright, Red? Yeah, you're fine. But with Forsaken, they changed a lot of stuff, like the core. They brought back some of the stuff from D1. They gave us a new raid. They gave us better weapons and armor. Like, they listened to a lot of the stuff in the first DLCs that we didn't like. So Forsaken was not just a big deal as far as the story, but it was a big deal as far as
core gameplay.
Right. They changed so much, and it made the game a lot better. And a lot of people came back, and a lot of people started playing again. So I think that was all because they was listening to the people, because it was a huge drop off from what launched to like after the second DLC. It was like, bro,
And that's the thing, is if Bethesda doesn't want to listen, they're going to get hit in the pocketbooks hard.
oh, very hard.
Be an adult and tell me what happened.
Right.
Explain to me, because I'm the one who's going to be buying your next product. If you want to downplay what's been going on, then I won't buy your next product.
Right, because you make me nervous. It's like you make me feel like there's no point.
Not even that. Like, if you don't care enough to listen to your fan base, then whether or not you put out a good product doesn't matter, because if I know that I have a concern with something and you don't give a fuck about my concerns as a loyal
I'm
fan,
not dropping $200 on the pre-order anymore.
it's like I'm not dropping $60 on the regular game. It's like, and that's how it's going to be. If we have,
and I agree with you on that. I kind of feel like Bethesda's in a point, they're in a situation now where they really need their fans, and they really need to start talking to the community more and letting people know. I wanted to get a valid opinion on somebody who just don't outright hate this game.
yeah,
And was giving points that made a lot of sense, because stuff that you said, I have not heard nobody say yet.
yeah,
As far as I've watched videos of people like, oh, this is what they could do. Nobody said half the stuff that you said. That's just like, when you really care about something and you know what you're talking about, it makes sense. Everything you said, I can agree with. So I just wanted to get your perspective on it, because you know Fallout, and I played a little bit, but you know, I just have my opinions on what I've seen, and I'm just like, well, this is what I don't want. Versus, because that was one of the main reasons why I didn't get the game. Because I'm like, well, if I'm not playing with you one day and I'm just out there, I don't want nobody fucking shooting me while I'm trying to kill a fucking death claw. Like, I'm fighting for my life and I'm half that. Well, don't just shoot me, shoot that thing, you know. And I'm just like, well, if everybody can get the same weapons that I got, then that kind of rules out like the special weapons. Like in Fallout 3, there was special weapons that you get from certain quests. Like there was it was a vampire sword, I think, that like gave you health for killing people. You got from the cannibals in the subway.
I can't remember.
But it was a special sword that you got for doing a quest with those guys down there. Like if you didn't talk to certain NPCs, you'd never get quests. You're just like, But like now you're talking about everybody can get the same weapons and the same. Only difference is mine is blue and yours is orange. It's like there's really no rule.
Yeah.
You know, and so like I kind of feel like you had the perfect solution to fixing it and whatnot. But you know, I mainly just wanted to get your take on it, because it would have been way better if I would just. But this is what I think and this is what I don't like. It would have been very short. We already on the almost an hour and 30 mark. So yeah, so I appreciate it. I'm gonna check this up, but we'll do a follow-up based off of what, if we get any responses or anything. But we'll keep an eye on this story and see what Bethesda does the closer we get to E3, and then depending on what they say or do, me and you will do a follow-up based off of that. So we're gonna bring this video to a close. Liking King, my special guest today,
Aerodevil 0311.
And Starlight.
and Red. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.